Okay. Anyway, welcome to Hacking the Gate, a science adventure panel. To start off, my name is Sarah, and if you want to follow me, I have a Twitter that I do stuff on, and then I also do VTubing. So the second one's my VTubing account. I gotta plug that. Gotta love that VTube life. But yeah, so that's general information. I am a freelance translator. I do a lot of manga cleaning. Odds are, if you've read any Steins Gate side material that before anything got licensed, I probably cleaned it, probably did the letter setting on it, 5 million other things. So, there's that. Okay. So what is Science Adventure? Science Adventure is a set of visual novels, anime, manga, you name it, all set within the same universe. It's Chaos Head, Steins Gate, Robotics Notes, all that fun stuff. If it has a semicolon in it, then it's Science Adventure. But what about Occultic 9? That's got a semicolon in it. Occultic 9. So even though it's been written by Chiamaro, Occultic 9 does not technically take place in the Science Adventure universe. But it's its own thing in the SVN series, or not. Chiamaro went on to say a few years back that it's all the same. Though he wants the visual novel for Occultic 9 that came out, it's unfinished. It doesn't actually have the true end in it. It's completely unfinished. And it's eventually supposed to be patched into the game, but that was like 3 years ago. Actually, 4 years ago now. So, no, 2017. Oh gosh, that's 5 years ago now. So it's supposed to be the true end, supposed to tie into everything, yada, yada, yada. The anime for it aired in 2016, and the visual novel released the following year. All 3 novels are released in English by, I believe, Seven Seas has the J novel released it. I know that. Also, what about Anonymous Code? So this was announced way back in 2015. It has undergone 3 full script rewrites. Plus, they changed the art director, the sprite designs, the engine the game ran on, and everything from the first PV trailer that was shown at Comic-Con in 2015. It has a release planned for this year, hopefully. It's supposed to release on the Switch and the PS4, and recently at Comic-Con 99, it had a little puzzle hunt that revealed 4 new CGs for the game and a preview of the load menu. Other than that, no new information. We don't know. It's a thing. I mean, I've been looking forward to this, but it's been 7 years. I have to. This is my favorite thing about Anonymous Code is just, wait, it's all world layers? Always has been. And don't believe Chiamaro's lies. His tweets are just, his tweets are just out there half the time. He doesn't know what he's doing. So, some recurring themes of science adventure, besides sharing the semicolon, they're all heavily in hard sci-fi, side of the spectrum, ranging from quantum physics, robotics, neuroscience, and more. There's a certain degree of plausibility for most of them. The writing's been highly praised. A lot of characters interact between multiple entries, i.e. Kurisu, Daru, Takumi, and some other spoilery characters. There's also lots of memes, internet jokes, and all that stuff. Yeah. So this chart ain't accurate anymore, I realized. So I used to show this as the Chiamaro Studio universe is, where we have our semicolons and then other things, but this chart isn't accurate anymore because of Chiamaro's tweeting. But it's still a good example of, that's our main, science adventure. What's a spin-off, technically, other things that tie in. It's a good visual aid. So Chaos Head. So who here has watched the anime for Chaos Head? I'm sorry for your 12 episodes of nonsense. So it's the first entry in the science adventure series. It came out in 2008, and it celebrated its 10th anniversary a few years ago. The VN is considered very successful, being the 4th most pre-ordered game in Japan in the months before its release. It's generally considered one of the best VNs of 2008. It's really important for 5PB and Mages because this allowed them to become more independent and not depend on Nitro Plus for funding. And you'll see after this, going into Steins Gate, they stopped partnering with Nitro Plus for the most part. They didn't need them for the money or anything. You'll notice on a lot of like the little trademark logo things, suddenly there's no Nitro Plus after a certain point. So the anime, on the other hand, was met with lukewarm reception at best. Honestly, I don't recommend it to anyone at all for any reason. The game, you can pirate the game and play it with an English patch. You should do that because it's never coming out in English. Again, it was successful enough so that way 5PB could become, their own thing and continue science adventure. So Chaos Head has a spin-off, Chaos Head Love Choo Choo, which is a fan disc that's a direct sequel. It seems like it's all fan servicey, but it's actually plot important. And it has a direct sequel, Chaos Child, which we'll get to in a bit. Again, it celebrated its 10th anniversary in 2018, and it's getting some re-releases coming up. Okay, so now we have Steins Gate. Who here's watched Steins Gate? Debatable. So, again, y'all know what Steins Gate is. It's the most well-known out of the series. Recipient of most of the critical praise of the series. And Steins Gate, the game came out in 2009, and as of December 2015, it has sold over 1 million copies worldwide, which is an amazing feat for a visual novel. I mean, there's really none that have come in comparison to it. So it was an instant success. It nearly eclipsed Chaos Head's total sales in the first week. The anime proceeded 2 years later, dominated sales lists, Anime of the Year lists, spawned a manga, an official podcast, drama CD, movie, board game, play, card, cosplay line, vape liquid, official Dr. Pepper products. Just a bunch of shit. I used to have a slide that was literally every product they've ever made, and it took like 15 minutes, so I cut it a while ago. But any product imaginable, there's a Steins Gate version of it. Its sequel is Steins Gate 0. I say sequel in quotation marks because it's more like a mid-quill type thing. Celebrated its 10th anniversary in 2019. And the anime just celebrated its 10th anniversary last year, which is very hard to believe. I love including this slide because it shows the dramatic increase in Dr. Pepper shares the day of the last episode. I kid you not, this is actually a real, stock exchange thing. And the sales of Dr. Pepper in the United States and all that skyrocketed during the run of the show. Like, it's crazy. Like, a lot of people were like, oh, I don't drink Dr. Pepper. And then they just start drinking Dr. Pepper because of the show. And I find it hilarious because I love Dr. Pepper. It's one of the few cola drinks I'll have. So, it's the drink of intellectuals, I guess. So, how many of you have heard of the Committee of Antimatter? So it's a canceled light novel project that was set to be released in 2015, but after a few delays, like 2 delays, it got canceled. It was supposed to be the epilogue continuation of Steins Gate. Got to tie in so much stuff. Canceled. It was supposed to be set 6 years after Steins Gate True and completely new art by Tatsuda Yoshida. He did the epigraph manga before the Zero stuff came out. He had done a lot of light novel art for the series. So the story was going to focus on Nai learning the truth about what happened to her mother, which was, stuff that kind of got explained in like the Brawn manga, if you read that, which is also by Yoshida. And the only things that have surfaced from this are a few panels from the light novel that were going to be, black and white, the promo image, and then character designs for everyone that was the 6 years later. And I don't have... So, funny thing is, Yoshida also used to draw a lot of like art of everyone in the 2020 sense, and Okabe has a man bun canonically in 2020. He has a man bun canonically. It's just hilarious to me. The pandemic hit him real hard. Yeah, but with Antimatter, so I actually had gone to Japan when it was supposed to be released. I had gone to study abroad, and literally the day I got to Japan, I heard that it got canceled. I was like, oh man, I'm so pumped. I'm going to go get a copy of this. I'm going to be like, hell yeah, I'm going to read it. And then I find out it got canceled. And it's just big sad for me. But there's still a bunch of promotional images and stuff for this. It's fun to see what the what if could have been. A lot of the ideas of this have been rolled into some other stuff. Okay, so Steins Gate Zero. Who watched the anime for Steins Gate Zero? Okay, most of you. Okay, yeah, I figured. So it's a direct sequel of Steins Gate that came out in 2015 and 2016-17 on the Vita, PS4, PC in the West. It was ported to the Xbox One in 2017, which is hilarious because Japan is not a very big Xbox console thing, and the fact that they waited 2 years to port it for some odd reason, probably after some contractual thing, I just always find it funny. So this takes place directly after, the end of Steins Gate of the original timeline, in which, spoilers, Okabe fails to save Kurisu. So it's received a lot of positive feedback and was Metacritic's top-rated Vita game. That's not last year, but the year it came out. The anime ran in 2018 for 23 episodes and 1 OVA, and it has my personal, best girl in it, Maho. So good, she's best girl. I'm sorry about the shit takes. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. So, anime kind of did its own thing. It didn't really adapt one route or really much of anything. It was a weird hodgepodge. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, but there's another half of the routes that would have been better suited to animation. So Steins Gate Elite, we're going on the cash cow milking here at this point. It's a remastered remake of the VN using animation from the TV anime. Just plain text overlay on the anime. Just stop milking this. Just go buy the original release. It was released on the Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS Vita in 2019. It was the first title to be released by Spike Chunsoft after Jast lost the license. So I met Kanako Ito a few years ago before Steins Gate Elite came out. She was a guest at a convention I went to. I asked her, do you know if there's going to be a new opening for Steins Gate Elite? And she had no idea what I was talking about. She didn't know the game was even coming out. So, yeah, that's kind of... She's like, how do you know there's a game coming out? What do you mean? You don't know the game's coming out? It was quite It was a little weird that like the Western fan base knew more than the actual, people involved in the production. Which, but yeah, this version's out on Switch and everything. It's accessible to pretty much everyone in comparison to the original release. I personally don't like it because of the reused assets and just they chose a lot of wonky in-between frames for certain scenes. And instead of redrawing them to make it look better, they just copy-pasted from the anime. So, to each their own on that. And Robotics Notes is... So, it came out in 2012, and it was billed as the next Steins Gate. Woo! How many of you have watched the anime for Robotics Notes? More than I thought, actually, because a lot of people have not watched the anime for it. So the issue with Robotics Notes marketing was it used the world line numbers, the catchphrases, other items from Steins Gate and Chaos Head. Like, it was going to be super important to the story. You think that, oh man, this is like a team up or something happening. And really, it's just sprinkled here and there. And like, there are some major plot points that are Chaos Head related and Steins Gate related, but like, you don't need to know anything to enjoy it as much. So a few details about the release are really known. The marketing was not well done. There really was no release press. They were really just banking on everyone's like, oh, Steins Gate, woo! So the anime came out that year to promote the game. It's the first and only title to be in the Nonoma A block, which I think is important because that block is like funded by a lot of like Cool Japan and all this other stuff. So they thought they had promise. So it was remade for PlayStation Vita and ported later as Robotics Note Elite, released in 2014, streamlined the story to reduce padding and other issues the original had. And it also, released on PS4, Switch, PC, all that. And it has a sequel called Robotics No Stash. I personally love Robotics Notes. It does not get enough love. It's the perfect homage to robots and just enjoying your youth and really pushing forward to what your dream is. So, it's good. Even if you watch the anime, it's good. Chaos Child. Who watched the anime for Chaos Child? Anyone? Oh, okay. That's fine. It's all right. All right. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's okay. It's the direct sequel of Chaos Head taking place 6 years later. It came out in 2014 with an anime premiering in 2017. It had 2+ years of delays for some reason. It just had production delays, and it was really weird because they had nothing really to promote the game. Like Chaos said, anime was met with a lot of lukewarm reception despite the source material. And a lot of critics who played it think it's great. It's one of the best in the series, but this is actually the worst selling science adventure game to date. It had a very bad launch where it only released on the Xbox One in Japan, and they sold under 200 copies on release week. Under 200. Yeah, so a big thing. So a big thing that was Chiamaro ended up backpedaling on the contract he had with Microsoft and released ports of the game like within the year. So they lost a lot of money because of that. Because they were on a time contract. So I mean, it did come out on PS4, PS3, and all these other systems, and had better release on that. But like the damage had already been done at that point. So unfortunately. Spike Chunsoft, again, they took over with releasing Science Adventure. They released it on Steam, fixing issues with the console translation that they had done and all that stuff. It has a fan disc called Love Choo Choo. I don't recommend you Googling it or anything unless you like diaper fetishes. I I hate to say that, but it is one particular part of the game. It's weird. It's real weird. It's bad weird. Like, I don't recommend it at all.
Sorry to interrupt, but do you know why it was released on the Xbox One instead of...
They, Chiamaro had a contract with Microsoft and Xbox to release titles first. From my understanding, it was, again, Steins Gate released first on Xbox. Chaos had released first on Xbox. It was just a deal he had for, you know, money and everything, because Microsoft really wanted to push first-party titles from Japan on their systems. So, and again, that kind of backfired later on after, you know, Xbox One launched, unfortunately. But yeah, Chaos Child, a lot of people like it. A lot of people dislike it for certain aspects. Mainly it gets real weird with some of the delusions. Like, I personally think it's one of the best written games in the series, and it doesn't end how you think it's going to end, and that's what makes it unique, I feel, comparison to the good guys save the day at the end that everything's had so far. And Robotics No Stash. So it's set 6 months after Robotics Notes, and this is where all this other science adventure people come in. You know, Daru from Steins Gate, he's there. And there's a bunch of other science adventure characters. The keywords are World Line Shift, Project Autumn, geotagging, and my favorite quote from Chiamaro's Twitter is, "Need to have played every science adventure game to understand the full plot." A lot of BS. You don't need it's good to have the knowledge, but you don't need it. It's a plus. You understand the plot without it, but if you know, you know. So this was released on Switch, PS4, along with Steam, last year? I think last year? Time is an illusion. It was released last year. It sold pretty well from my understanding. They did even a limited day one release on the Switch that had like a pin set and everything. It was nice. I bought it. Very much worth it. So, Robotics No Stash has a lot of Steins Gate characters interacting with the Robotics Notes cast. So, there's a Twitter system on this game that's used to, do flag points and everything. Kurisu's on there, Daru's on there, Mayuri's on there, Luca's on there, Ferris is on there. Okabe has a bot account. Takumi's on there, and it's hilarious because it's literally Kurisu roasting everyone for the entirety of the game on Twitter, and like just talking about like, this could never happen. I don't know what you're talking about. And just it's interesting because there's a lot of interaction between the Steins Gate characters that we haven't seen in a while, and it's just it's fun to know that they're still around and that they are playing a major impact on the plot, especially in the last chapter of the game. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's sort of leading into that team up everyone wants. The big, we're the Avengers of the Science Adventure series. I mean, that's going to be in future games, but for now, it is what it is. Again, since I really like Robotics Notes, I highly recommend this and Dash. The release for the English version is the dual pack, so it comes with both games for like $40. I really recommend it. It's just a good game. It's my favorite out of, science adventure, and if you like Steins Gate and all that stuff, you'll like this. It's on the same wavelength. Let's see. So now for the fun part, how this is all related. So I have a screenshot from Chaos Head. I have a screenshot from Steins Gate. Look, it's the same. It's the same, guys. It's the same goddamn pattern and everything. And Amadeus just shows up in Zero, in Robotics Notes, a lot of things. it's pretty much Kurisu's research keeps getting used in the wrong way. And, like, they do nothing to stop it. Like, Kurisu's just like, I gotta be undercover here. Can't blow it up right now, you know. I mean, there's even more about this there's a Chaos Child spinoff called Children's Collapse, which deals with Kurisu and Mio. And it's pretty much like Mio's character arc did not need to happen if Kurisu's like, I don't think that's a good idea. You shouldn't do that. But no, Kurisu's like, none of my business. I gotta play it on the down low. You know? And it's like the funniest thing to me because I'm like, you literally could have avoided the events of Chaos Child, probably. If Kurisu's just like, I don't think so. And if there's a few chapters of it out in English, I recommend reading it. I personally found it to be a very interesting, you know, crossover situation. Then I have more, you know, screenshots from Robotics Notes and, you know, the Committee of 300. That's always the recurring bad guys. And it talks about the incident in Chaos Head a lot in Robotics Notes. It's like, they talk about it a lot. If you don't know Chaos Head, it's a little troubling, but, you know, it's still fun. They mention it a lot, though, so, I mean, they are connecting it. And then we have Kurisu talking about a high-level AI, which is Amadeus. It's just Amadeus, we know that. There's no need to sugarcoat it. It's that. She talks about it a lot on Twitter. And her username is still the same one from Steins Gate, the Curry Gohan and Kamehameha thing. But yeah. What else? So, the what's next portion. So, Spike Chunsoft took over as the publisher a few years ago. Anonymous Code, Spectrum Boys, whatever Chiamaro's announced, have anime planned for 2020X. I don't know when. It's vague. He's tweeted only vague things. Anonymous Code has a planned release window for 2022 after missing the 2021 planned release. Yeah, I don't know. He's written the damn thing 3 times now. We don't know. I'm not kidding. He's literally rewritten this 3 times. He's gone on Twitter saying he's rewritten it. It's to the point where one of the voice actors have died in the process of it. And then Chaos Head Noah has modern console ports coming out this year on the Switch, PS4, all that. So if you ever needed, if you want it, we might be getting English releases. I don't know. They ported it to a completely different engine, meaning they can actually, you know, insert anything on it if they wanted to. Who knows? Who knows? There's nothing. It's really just been a lot of like, we're re-releasing a lot of stuff, or like we had this Steins Gate 10th anniversary thing where it's like, here's some merchandise, or that's it. Merchandising. Oh yeah, I leave it off with if you ever watch the Robotics Notes anime, there's a really funny frame of Kai and when it's a really dramatic scene and he's just entering the room like that. And it's just hot time for robots. And then Aki dabbing in the freaking ending dance for Dash is always hilarious to me. And my favorite, of course, is that I couldn't afford a present this year, so I got you this box. If you know, you know. If you know what's in the box, you know what's in the box. That's it. Anyone got questions?